Hey everybody, it's me, Asinellus, and welcome back to Reddit. Welcome back to r/EntitledParents, a beautiful subreddit where we get to hear stories about parents who think their kids deserve absolutely everything. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. These videos are absolutely hilarious. You'll get to hear some great stories, and with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Alright, I was scrolling through and could not help but stop at this one. Entitled Mum confused about escalators. Background. I was at the mall yesterday that has two floors. There's a middle section of the mall that has an up escalator and a down escalator with a Starbucks store in the middle. However, the store is not that tall, so you can see the escalators on both sides. All I'm going to say is I seriously hope what I saw was not real, but the way people were staring, I think it was real. The characters are EM, Entitled Mum, for anyone who doesn't know yet, SG is the security guard, and H is the husband of Entitled Mum. Know me? I didn't talk because I was so flabbergasted at this story, my mouth dropped on the floor. EM tries to walk up the down escalator but can't get up the stairs. I'm about to say something because I think she might be tired or distracted and not realize what the F is going on. But then she screams for the security guard. Why are these stairs preventing me from going upstairs? That's the escalator, Mom. They used to bring people downstairs. But I want to go up these stairs. Take the escalator just over there. No more than 10-20 steps. But that's too far. Why don't you change the direction of the escalator? It's too far to walk and I have to go to my baby upstairs. Where is your child? Upstairs with my husband, duh. Now change the direction of the escalator. I can't. It won't be that hard. You could have been upstairs by now if you just used the up escalator. Let's not waste any more time and go up the up escalator. I want to speak to the manager. He's literally going to say the same thing. The husband now appears on top of the escalator with kid being neutral going down the down escalator. Honey, what's going on? This man won't change the escalator. What do you mean? The escalator is going the wrong way. There's another escalator right there that's going up. Entitled Mum, as if she sees it for the first time. Oh, thank you, honey. Goes to the escalator and rides up it with the child. At this point, I leave, so I don't know what happens afterwards. I am so confused by this story. Alright, maybe this person is somewhere from the country or something and they've never seen an escalator. But surely they've watched a movie at least and they know what an escalator is. It's not that hard. And even better, the guard pointed her to an escalator that goes up and she still refused until her husband told her. Now I'm actually curious what would happen if someone put a gun to her head and was like, you're not going up here. Or, if she was trespassing, it's like, you're not going in here. And she's like, nah, but I have to go through here. I have to go through here. And then her husband would come out and be like, honey, you need to stop and go around. And she'd just be like, okay, yep, that's fine. But I don't care about the gun. Only what my husband says. Alright, looks like a classic, but hopefully a good one. Entitled Dad tried to take my phone on a school bus. So I was just coming home from school from a stressful day at school. 2 frickin' essays. I can relate on that one. Essays, no, they never go well. My house is pretty far, so I'm usually one of the last people on the bus. So it's usually not that crowded whenever it's my turn to get off. Today though was different, because this new kid that had gotten there about 2 weeks ago tapped me on the shoulder from the seat behind me. Hey, what you playing on your phone? The kid said. Now the reason this kid was behind me was whenever the bus was almost empty, the driver let the little kids go back there to see what it's like to be a high schooler. I replied back, just a stupid runner game, temple run, I don't know why. And he said, can I play? Now I normally would just let a kid play on my phone, because it would get them to be quiet, but today I wasn't feeling like it, so I just said, no. He then asked me again if he could play on my phone, and I told him again that he couldn't. His face went from a kind smile to a horrid frown. He sat down and didn't say a word for the rest of the bus ride. It was his turn to get off and he stomped his way off to his mum who was sitting in the front porch in a little chair. I guess he told her that I denied him his right of playing on my phone and she was furious. Right before the bus took off, she ran up to it and held the door. She stepped on the bus and yelled at her son, "Who told you that?" He sure enough yelled back my seat number and she flew down the aisle towards me. She screamed at me to give her my phone, but I refused and held it tight to my chest. The bus driver then caught me in her rage by grabbing her arms and pulling her back. She tried to break free, but luckily my bus driver was one of the gym teachers who was pretty buff for late 40s. He pushed her off and closed the door right behind her. We then took off while the crazed mother ran after the bus. When it was finally my turn to get off, he apologized for not getting there sooner and asked if I was alright. She didn't really hurt me, but she did grip my arm tight. I got off and told my family about it, and most of them laughed. I shrugged it off, but I was curious about what would happen to EM and EK. The next day, I was called into the principal's office and he told me what happened. He told me that the kid would be riding another bus from now on, and the mum was arrested shortly after the whole thing went down because the bus driver called 911 and reported the whole thing. Overall, I wouldn't be seeing that kid anymore. I reckon I should try this one next time I'm on the train. I should just get on, see someone with their phone, walk up and be like, "Can I have your phone?" And they would of course tell me, "No, you can't." And I should just throw a huge tantrum and just attack them and just run off with their phone. I just need to time this properly. Maybe it'll work. And I'm not an entitled parent though, so maybe I could be a choosing beggar instead. Alright, I saw this title and just couldn't resist. Entitled Bible Thumping Aunt Steals an Anime Box Set that I told her son he couldn't borrow. Then she gets mad because the cartoon is not age appropriate. Just the name in itself is so confusing, we have to find out what's happening. No real damage done, but it was still annoying. A cousin of mine recently got into Studio Ghibli films. He wanted to borrow Spirited Away, and I was okay with that. His folks go to church in my area, so they agreed to swing by and grab the disc after service. They come in, and I go to get the disc. My cousin starts asking about some of the other Ghibli films and anime mixed into my DVD collection. He then points to Soul Eater. It's a great show, but he just turned 13, and it wasn't exactly age appropriate. Plus, I didn't think his parents, mainly his mother, would approve. They're very religious, and the show revolves around soul harvesting, the Grim Reaper, witches, and some fan service. I'm still not sure why Ghibli was okay with them, because of the spirits, witches, and demons, but I'm pretty sure a show called Soul Eater would tip that Jenga tower. So when he asked me if he can borrow it, I said no. That no seemed to catch my aunt's attention, and she was by my cousin's side in a flash. She asked why he can't borrow it, and I told her it may not be age appropriate. Then she says something along the lines of, "It's a cartoon. It's meant for children. You're a grown woman. You shouldn't have this anyway." I was a little irritated, but stood firm. Instead, I let the kid borrow My Neighbor Totoro as well as Spirited Away, and they went home. I thought everything was good until an hour ago. I received a call from my screaming aunt. She accused me of trying to corrupt her son with vulgarity and Satanism. I was lost at first, and then she mentioned a demon and a naked Catwoman being in the first episode. I checked my shelf, and Soul Eater was missing. I'm not sure when she did it, but she had stolen the box set. They're returning the movies the next Sunday, and Soul Eater had better be with them. I'm hoping she doesn't confiscate it like she does with other ungodly stuff. That set was around $50 after shipping and handling. It was like the first anime box set I ever bought, and I will go to war for it. Alright, and we have a couple of interesting updates. So first of all, they agreed to return my DVDs next Sunday. I'm hoping it will be uneventful, but I'll update then. Then another edit. I'm 26 and live alone. I'm not getting into trouble over this. The only reason she thinks she can take my stuff is because she did it when I was a kid. And the last edit, I know Soul Eater isn't technically inappropriate for a 13-year-old. My judgment was based mainly around his mother's worldview. When I was a kid, I was banned from watching anime after they caught me watching Bleach. I didn't want her forbidding him from watching anime because of one series. But wait guys, it gets better, because there is another whole post of an update, and we'll go check it out right now. So as you can see, this is the update. Alright, so as the name suggests, this is an update. For the full story, go there, we were just there. It's been an interesting week. My aunt stole my Soul Eater box set after I told her son he couldn't borrow it. She then called me a few hours later claiming that I was trying to corrupt her baby son. From what my uncle told me, she had intended on returning it with the other DVDs my cousin, her son, had borrowed. but after watching the first episode of Soul Eater, she planned on throwing it out. Thankfully, this is where my uncle stepped in. For years, the man has been rescuing wicked items from his wife and returning them to his nieces and nephews. Earlier tonight, he stopped by and returned the pilfered box set along with the other DVDs. He apologized for my aunt and promised it wouldn't happen again. Even so, I still don't want her in my apartment. I told him that I didn't feel comfortable lending them movies, but I also told him about Crunchyroll accounts and he said he'd tell my cousin. So now, the kid can enjoy anime and his mother won't step foot into my apartment. I know the conclusion wasn't very exciting, but I got my discs back and that's all I wanted. I'm currently binging episodes of Soul Eater and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. When I originally typed it out, I was angry and trying to vent. I had no idea this was going to blow up. Thank you all for taking the time to read the post and this update. According to the logic of some of these entitled parents, Reddit should just be closed down. The amount of satanic material found here is just incredible. So, how about we just shut Reddit down and never come back again? Because, well, Satan will be after us. We're not going to go to heaven. We're all going to die. All right, not strictly entitled parents, but still pretty good. A thank you to all of you. I'd like to give a big thanks to everyone who both reads and writes on this subreddit. Not only are the majority of posts interesting, but I learn about 5 new fancy words per day from all the stories. As the school that I'm in does not widen vocabulary much, I'm thankful that I can compensate that by doing one of my favorite things, reading this subreddit. Thank you. I am laughing as I read this because, yep, Reddit is better than school. You improve your reading and writing skills. If instead of writing essays, I was writing Reddit posts, it would be just so much easier. So much easier. Try to hurt my sister? How about I destroy your life? Context, this is my second post on this subreddit. I came to India 2.5 years ago from Almaty, Kazakhstan. I'm currently living here with my mum and little 8-month-old sister, plus me of course. I'm, for context, a 13-year-old boy with straight A+ marks and a blue belt in karate. My mum suffered some health issues during her pregnancy, so we had to hire nannies for my little sister. Mum is way better now though. The first and third one were fired and the second one left due to family reasons. The fourth one is the one we're going to talk about. Keep in mind, my mum's really ad bas even if she's sick. You might know this if you've seen my other r/entitled parents post where she broke an entitled mum's arm. The cast: M is mum, S is adorable sister, EN is entitled nanny/mum, EK entitled kid, ED entitled daughter, and me, Joseph Stalin. It was a sunny morning and we were waiting for the nanny to come. I was playing with my sister and my mum was talking to my dad. Suddenly, the bell rang. We expected the nanny to be alone, but guess what? She had her daughter and her son with her. Now my mum does not take this lightly, but since EN told us a fake story, we agreed, but only for one day. It was spring break, so I sat down and started playing on my PS4, WWE 2K19 in my room. The entitled kids were with their mum in the kitchen. Then, the entitled kid enters and the conversation is as follows. Hi, my name is EK. Hi, EK. Nice games you have there. Thanks. Can I try it? I don't really want to share my stuff with a complete unknown, but I say yes. This game is really nice. Yeah, dude, can I have my turn now? What? I thought I can play for as long as I want. It's my console. I own it. I decide how long each one of us plays. At this point, EK shouts and calls his mum. Mom, this jerk is not letting me play. Hey, let my son play or I will do something bad to your sister. How dare you? I call my mum, but at this time, my mum was doing something important, so could not attend. Entitled mum notices this and then rushes to get my sister. Then entitled mum comes back. You call your mum and I drop her on the floor. She shouted, but at a low extent, so my sister started crying. I again called for mum, and this time mum heard my plea. EM then suddenly opens up her arm, but I see it and get hold of my sister before she fell to the ground. I had to make a dive to get her. My mum sees entitled mum doing that. Mum pulls entitled mum by the hair and makes her fall to the ground. Entitled daughter came at this point. Edie was horrified. I had made my sister sit on my bed. Then I saw that entitled daughter was trying to punch my mum in the head from behind. I screamed at my mum to move, and the punch landed at my mum's shoulder. My mum, still in recovering health, felt the pain. I went in full ballistic mode. As I'm a blue belt in karate, I kicked the entitled kid hard on the leg, so he fell. Both mum and son were lying down, and then I got hold of the entitled daughter, who was visibly confused at what she must do. I grab hold of her, my mum goes to her room and calls security. Security comes and takes the family away. This was not the end though. Entitled mum decided to get police involved the day after. Thankfully, we have a camera system in our home at the public area, and since my room is next to the dining room, the camera caught everything. We presented that as evidence to the police. The police instead charged entitled mum and her family for many things. I don't know, my mum didn't tell me. EM got some hours of community service and her kids were left with a warning, but she cannot work anywhere now because of this incident. No one will keep her as this spread like wildfire throughout the area we live in, and she cannot afford to travel far for work. This means that only her husband is working now and he earns a low salary, only enough to feed them. Everything's fine for us now, we're just looking for a new nanny. This was intense. That escalated from a little argument to a fight in seconds. Who threatens to drop an 8-month-old baby? The little daughter didn't even know what was going on. Alright guys, that is it for today. I know, everyone wants more entitled parent stories because, who doesn't want them? So, if you like what you saw, then make sure to subscribe to the channel for tons more videos like this. At the moment, I'm trying to make about two Reddit videos every week, along with Battle Cats every Friday. And if you like what you saw, or if you want me to do a particular Reddit, a particular subreddit, then make sure to go down into the comments and tell me down below what you would like to see. I will be happy to hear from you. But for now, guys, as I said, that is it from me. I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye!